Hi, Carol. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Nice to see you. What part of the United States are you in?
We are currently in Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, okay. I've never been
We
to
also have
Indiana.
a home in Scottsdale,
Okay, excellent.
Mhm. But
So,
this is our main residence.
okay, cool,
Mhm,
cool. And I'm looking at the cover of a book here.
mhm.
It's called The Cave Boy Who Would Be President.
Uh-huh.
That's a book you wrote then.
Yes, yes. Actually, turns out very timely right now, huh?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Although
Well,
I
before,
wrote it like 4 years ago
okay.
or whatever, or three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
suppose so. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about the book, but why don't you tell us more about yourself first? Give us a little backstory,
Mhm.
who you are, and how you got to the
Yeah.
point where you wrote a book.
Uh, so I'm an English major, and you find out very early on that just being an English major doesn't qualify you for any particular occupation. So I ended up working in an insurance company for about 13 years. I was a customer service person. So writing has always been something I'm interested in. I used to write short stories. I wrote Bible uh, skits for the church, because I was a member of our women's church. And so I did that. And then we have two children, and one being Laura, our oldest. She had two boys. And so Laura has the older boys, Grayson, and then Cooper was born. And so as we went through, the whole, oh, we've got grandchildren, woohoo! But this Cooper was different than Grayson. They always are. And Barry and I used to talk about, having we would observe Cooper and we would say, wow, he's not talking. Laura, would say, I don't know what it is. He's not really meeting the markers for when he should start talking and doing all that. In fact, he just makes grunting noises a lot. And you couldn't understand really what he wanted. If he wanted juice, he'd go oos. Or, it just kind of, we thought, well, what is this that we're going through? And so eventually, of course, he got speech therapy and to help him along. A lot of children now, it seems like a much higher percentage, have speech problems, speech delays. Now,
Hmm.
his was never autism, wasn't related to that. They do all kinds of testing, they test the hearing. Um, and so it's articulation more than anything.
I see.
And so his brain would try and say something, and it would take a while for it to connect.
Hmm.
And so, he's perfectly intelligent little boy, but just wasn't communicating in what was considered the normal fashion. So
Right.
he began getting speech therapy eventually. Actually, they have what do they call it? They call it it's the STEP program, and here in Indiana, and that's provided free through the state system,
Hmm.
and so that has helped a lot. But I thought it would be great, and my husband really named it. He's Mr. Creative as far as marketing, and so we thought he sounded like a little cave boy, and so that's how we got the Cave Boy book. And I uh, eventually found a very, very talented artist. And Alan McClucky he's given credit in the book, of course,
Yeah.
and he illustrated it. He's more of a rather than like a cartoonish type illustrator. He paints with oils. I mean, he was
Wow.
so that's how it's gotten to be kind of very dramatic as far as how
Yeah.
his pictures are, whatever.
Yeah.
He actually came and met with the family, and then he took pictures. We took pictures, and so some of the drawings in there are actually from pictures that he took, and those are, that's my husband that's in there, and it's Cooper and Grayson and Lola the dog, and
Wow.
Mustache the dog.
Wow.
and and so, the whole dinosaur thing came about as Cave Boy. So
Sure.
you'll see the little dinosaurs tromping about in the book. Um, and of course he's wearing like a sarong with cave, like the cave, like Fred Flintstone kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And so that we equated how he was communicating with being a cave boy.
Cool.
And so you have to, as a parent then, and as a grandparent, you say, well, how, you'll, when the kids are born, you go, he's going to be the president of the United States. Woohoo.
Sure.
But he won't be able to be one if he can't talk.
Hmm.
And so we went through and created a story based around that. Much of what you see and hear in the book are things we actually went through. Um, you know, having the speech therapist come over and test him, and the he's a late bloomer. That's
Hmm.
and how Grayson interprets that. Well, and so you have to figure your way out. It's not like you know what to do when you have a child who has a speech delay.
I bet.
Yeah, you don't know what to do. So you eventually consult with enough doctors, experts, whatever, that you start getting some help.
Yeah.
He is now 7,
Okay.
and he's in kindergarten. Well, he's actually in first grade. Sorry.
Right.
So he's doing really well. He still has, I guess there's a stutter, and then there's a stammer, and he's more one that he'll eventually grow out of and be able to not have it anymore. I
Yeah.
think there's differences between how you end up communicating as an adult. But
Yeah. Yes, I heard.
so that's how I started. Had never written anything other than little short stories and skits. And but this came about because of something very very meaningful to our
Mm.
hearts. And we've had people come up and say, oh my gosh, we've gone through the same thing. And they're almost in tears because they too have had a child or a grandchild
Yeah.
who's been delayed with speech. And the poor kid goes through a lot of, you as a parent have to be very supportive. And you've got to stop the older son from saying, "Rah, rah, rah," stop
Yeah.
it, Cooper. And so you encourage everyone around him to, cut him some slack and to help him instead of criticize him.
Right.
And that's been very good with the school he's currently in and the schools that we had him in from the beginning. Yeah. So he is, he got most creative classmate last
Mhm.
year. Um, kindergarten graduation. Boy, I didn't do that when I was back in school, but hey.
Yeah.
And so he is very, very um he loves to be creative. He loves to draw, and so he's finding his way. But people are very supportive, and if as long as they are, the child will not have this view of himself. I know Cooper does not have a view of himself as, well, I'm something less than what I should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing very well, and he's a good kid.
I bet.
He's maybe a little more, I mean, I know originally he was shy, because
Yeah.
he was afraid kids were going to criticize him for,
Well, of
not
course.
being able to communicate. So,
Well, all of you are very fortunate for
uh
having the ability to be able to understand these things on a deeper level. When you first discovered that there was something wrong with them, I guess you were upset and confused.
mhm.
Was it a difficult thing for you to get through?
Um, I think it was probably harder on my daughter, and her husband, to get through, not having had to deal with that with the first one. So it was like, oh, what's this going on?
Mm.
So it was something you didn't think of as a difficulty. It was a challenge, and it was a challenge to be overcome.
Yeah. So when did you come up with the idea that you want to write about this in the way that you ended up writing about it?
Yeah, he was probably let's see, 2 maybe? Yeah, 2 or 3 years old. Um, that's about when it started. Just out of the blue, decided that that's what be boy, this would be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah.
I'd never written a book, much less a children's book before, and being that we have a marketing company, um, you kind of gravitate to know how to publish a book, and
Mm.
and you got to decide, am I going to publish it myself, Am I going to hire somebody? What can we do to promote this book? So we do have a 501c3,
Okay.
Cooper's Cause, and
Cool.
we have that so that we can donate the proceeds from the book. We do not, take the money ourselves or whatever. It goes into that, and then we can donate it to causes that actually aid children who have speech delays.
Well, that's good. That's very nice.
Mhm.
And how long is the book? It's a children's book, so they're
Go.
generally not that long, right?
30 pages. I haven't looked and see. Let me see how many pages we got here. Oh, let's see.
And lots of illustrations, I take it.
Yeah, lots of illustrations. 32 is the credit page there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
of course, in the end, he becomes the president. So,
Oh, cool.
and one of the things we thought would, in today's politicians, um, as I wrote through it, and of course I wrote and then rewrote some, and my husband has various suggestions, but the politician who listened and is what he becomes. And so it's really pretty, I don't know, it's very as it turns out, it's very momentous because how many of our politicians do we feel are really listening to us, to the American people? So we thought, yeah. So I could say, Cooper was what, 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah. When
Mhm.
did you publish the book?
It's been 22, I think. It came out just around COVID, actually, after
Okay.
COVID got implemented and all this. So it was hard to get. I wanted to have it in like pediatricians' offices or
Hmm.
speech therapists'
Yeah.
offices or the library. Well, nobody would take anything. In fact, Laura couldn't even go into speech therapy with Cooper because you have to stay distant and yes.
Right, right.
Yeah, it was, I would say that was a difficult thing to try and get promoting past that. Yeah.
But then eventually it lightened up and,
Yeah, yeah. And
different.
you can get it into schools now, and
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
so you
happy to
have.
go in and read the book and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, having a marketing company of your own and knowing
Mhm.
how to do that, which a lot of authors are terrible at it, me
Very
included.
terrible. Yeah.
So that's pretty good. You ended up
Mhm.
self-publishing though?
Yes. Yeah. We
Okay.
published it ourselves. Yeah. Mhm.
And where's the book available if they want to buy it?
You can get it online at the caveboybook.com, basically.
Okay.
I haven't looked recently to see where it lists on Amazon, but we might be able to get it there. I'm not
Okay.
sure. Probably
Okay.
just get it off the website,
Sure, sure, of course.
Yeah.
And what are you charging for the book?
$15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the illustrations, I'm very curious about that.
Mhm.
Well, can you show us a little bit there? You got a
Oh,
good
sure. If
camera.
you don't
Good.
mind, if
Yeah, give us a
you're
little
gonna,
shot.
yeah. So basically, you start out, showing like. Let me see if you. See. So you got him playing with a dinosaur. I don't know if that's those. Yeah. Make sure it's there. One of my favorite ones. Well, and Cooper later told me he doesn't like this page because it's pooper scooper, pooper Cooper, and he says, "I don't like that page, Nana, because I'm Nana." I went, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, honey, I didn't mean anything by it,
Yeah.
Let's see. So you've got all dogs are named Lola, Wowa. So we have a little beautiful little Maltipoo. She's still alive, as a matter of fact. And so and then mustache, and then a dinosaur. Now those are the illustrator. He said, "Well, we need to put some dinosaurs in here." So he got creative and added those things. Um, you've got you at first you start thinking, well, the older boy, he's just saying everything for him instead. And because Grayson is quite a talker. That's the older boy, who is now 10 and Cooper's 7. So, and let's see. So then you have people trying to bring things to him to entice him to speak, and that's my husband then. So let's see. Cooper, you're behind, you should be 300 words by now is what so they had that kind of a thing. And let's see. And this is the late bloomer picture. I always thought that was really funny.
Nice.
And then, then as you start to imagine as parents, oh, what would he be doing as a president? That kind of thing. Talking to, he's never going to be a president if he can't talk. So
That's right.
And we had, it's funny, we had these mourning doves on our porch.
Okay.
And they had eggs. And so he was like, I told him about a mommy bird having eggs in her nest. And this is how he told the story. So Cooper became quite the charades player. And to this day, actually, we play charades as a family. It's, it's fun. So
It
Cave
is.
Boy
It is
Cadence.
Oh.
Yeah. And then we go into, trying to bribe him to speak. And none of that really works. And then as he got older, so I go through, as he gets older, he begins to, talk in school more, but he doesn't ever say anything unless he's ready to say it. And really, when you work with a child who has a delay or a speech problem, Cooper needs time to think about his response. And that's his teachers know that, and they will honor Cooper by saying, not like blurting, calling out, say, talk now, that kind of thing, because that'd be one thing to make him free. So then it's becomes the politician who listened. This is Cooper on a dinosaur. Of course.
Yes. Well,
so
the president of the United States now, Joe Biden, he had a speech impediment, if I understand
yes,
correctly.
I understand that.
Yeah, so
has been
that could be kind of an inspiration for
Mhm.
a child who has a speech problem. Says, well, president, he's been in politics a long time.
Yeah.
Whatever one thinks of him, I'm talking only specifically about the fact that he overcame something.
Mhm. Yeah, and of course there was the president or the King of England. He had a speech problem long ago as well.
Yeah,
So there's obviously been very momentous
for
people
sure.
who have overcome.
Yeah,
And that's what you have to think. I'm going to overcome this. I'm not
that's
going to
right.
let it dominate my life.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So the pandemic messed things up, but it also gave people a chance. I interview so many people who started writing books during the pandemic because they were,
Oh,
they were shut in. They said, "Well, I might as well write
yeah,
a book,"
that's right.
Yeah. But in your case, that wasn't the case. It was a matter of marketing. It was difficult, but now it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
the election year in the United States. This
Mhm.
book is called The Cave Boy Who Would Be President. Has
Mhm.
it had some impact on your sales?
I wouldn't, doesn't seem like so far, because most of it's younger kids or schools or
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So, that it's actually, I probably have not done as good of a job marketing it that way as what I could.
Yeah. Well, children are aware that there's a president and that
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
they're hearing adults talk about there's voting for another president. So the book
Mhm.
has the word president on it. There's a
Yeah.
connection there. I think it's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Mm.
So, do you have plans to write any more books?
Actually, I'm bowing to the influence of my older grandson then, who Grayson, who always this one will I've got the name, got some ideas on how it's going to go. In fact, I wrote a rough draft of it while we were on vacation, and that one is the boy who wanted to be a dog. You know how many young boys and girls, I wish I could be a dog. It seems like a wonderful, neat thing to be. And so, in this respect, he turns into a dog, finding a magic bone. And then is the moral of the story is I've already thought of that. Don't wish to be something you're not.
All right.
Yeah,
Reminds me of the incredible Mr. Limpet. Remember that film?
yeah, I kind of do.
Don Knotts, I wish I
Mhm.
was a fish, and then he turns into a fish. But
Yeah.
he helps America win the war. So
Yeah, there we
During
go.
World War II. Yeah. Great film.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
And how far are you into that? When do you think you'll be publishing that?
Um, I've still got to work with. I'll probably use the same illustrator.
Okay.
He's encountered some health problems, so
Mm.
that's something we're going to have to deal with. But I have the basic outline. Probably most of it just needs to be ironed out into
Yeah.
which page, because you got to think, okay, what goes on this page, what goes on that, and now that I've had more experience, and also the illustrator, Alan McClucky, he says, "Wow, now I know," because he didn't even know about how you could download the pictures onto the computer,
Mm.
and then you could change the size and the colors
Yeah. Yeah.
and he goes, "Wow, I could do it a lot faster this time." Knowing that, not he's not a computer expert himself,
Sure.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
our company obviously could do that.
Mhm.
And then you got to lay out the book, and so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when one is writing a novel, 300 pages, it requires editing, and people
Hmm.
send it out to get it edited properly.
Hmm.
I know very few people who edit their own books. Did
Hmm.
you edit this book? It's a short book. It's written.
Yeah,
How long
yeah,
does it
we
take to
did.
read? Maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, about 10 minutes at the most. Yeah. We edited it. My husband, myself. We have professional writers who work for us that are and then we have graphic artists and
For sure.
writers. So as a marketing company,
Yeah.
so yeah, we
So
did
it
it
didn't.
ourselves. We didn't
So it didn't really
go through
cost you too
anybody.
much to make the book in that sense. I mean, with
Not
the artists,
yeah.
the illustrations, of course, are beautiful, and
Hmm.
they cost you money. But other than that, it's
Yeah, the cost of the printing, and you got to decide,
yeah, that goes without
how you
saying.
want how you want it bound or not, and
Right. But you don't have
yeah,
alpha readers, beta readers, and a whole team of people working with you because it's, you and your husband can get this done
yes,
yourselves.
yes,
Yeah.
hmm,
Yeah.
yeah, hmm.
Wonderful. And then beyond this book about a boy who wishes he was a dog, do you have ideas of continuing on and being an author of children's books?
I hadn't thought yet going beyond that, but uh, the world is my oyster, I guess, huh?
Sure. Yeah. What does your
Whatever
family
that came
think about
from.
you being an author? What are your kids and grandkids?
Everybody loves it, and they're very, very supportive, and you surprisingly, I mean, Cooper, we've had a couple of articles in the paper and stuff
Okay.
locally,
Sure.
and the teachers know about it, and they're very, very supportive of having it read in their class,
Wow. That's
and they think
excellent.
it's really, really neat,
Sure.
and so I'm not so sure Cooper is ready for the fame, but
Oh, come on,
Grayson
Cooper.
probably will be when it
It
happens
makes
to
it
him.
makes little Cooper feel, like significant and like he's
Yeah,
somebody
that's right.
special.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. Carol, that's
Uh-huh.
very, very uplifting stuff.
Yeah,
Um, did you
mhm.
want to give us a final word on that? I'll put you on full screen and you could tell people why they should order this book
Mhm.
and what's in it for them. You want to do that?
Well, sure, that'd be great. I would say the big message behind the book is how to overcome a challenge, and to have supportive people around you is the most important thing in the world. And whether it's your community, your church, your school, your family is the biggest reason why you're going to succeed. And the all the money goes that we sell the book for goes to the charity 501(c)(3), and then we will contribute that money to um, a charity that
Yeah.
helps children.
Well, I think it's wonderful.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Fabulous conversation. Carol, it's been a pleasure meeting you, talking to you about your wonderful book. And I wish you and your family lots of success and happiness and joy in the coming years.
Thank you. We
All right.
appreciate it, and I'm glad to gotten this opportunity.
Okay. You take care of yourself.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, and if you like what I do here on Tell Me About Your Book, then I invite you to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment if you wish. And if you are an author, I would sure love to hear from you. Until such time, keep on writing, and remember to be kind to one another.